it's Janet and welcome to my channel. Well, I'm here today for a fun hop opportunity. This is all about DIY weddings, and I'm here representing CutCardStock in their DIY wedding hop. There's many different artists involved in this, so hopefully you found me through that hop and by going to different places. But I want to tell you a little about it. It's all about trying to find great ideas for your own wedding themed projects. Now, it's hard to imagine doing large weddings and all that kind of thing right now, but believe me, they are coming back and they will happen. So we want to be ready with some great ideas for you to save some money and yet have some beautiful things ready for your wedding, whether it's invitations, thank you cards, different things to give away, party favors, signs like I'm going to show you in my projects, that kind of thing, so that you can have some special touches without spending a fortune doing so. And that's really important today, I think. We're all trying to save a little bit of money where we can. Now, there are going to be some prizes associated with this. CutCardStock is going to give away a $40 gift card from their store, and I am also giving away something as well. To enter in both drawings, you need to make a comment on everyone's blogs that are involved with the hop, and from those comments, along with what is also on the CutCardStock blog page, which I'll put a link for, a winner will be picked and announced. Now, at the time that I'm recording this, I don't know exactly the start and stop time of this hop, but I will put that detail for you in the video description so you know when it cuts off and that sort of thing. I'm going to give my own prize, totally unrelated to CutCardStock. I'm going to be giving away a whole pack of Cricut pens. This is a, how many? 30 different pens. This is the fine tip pens, and the ones I really like to use in my Cricut machine for writing. So that is going to be a prize, and to qualify for that, leave a comment just like you would to get into the other drawing, but I would also like to have you subscribe to my channel. And if you do that, I will put you in a drawing. And I will announce the winner a week from today. So today is May 9th. So what's that, May 16th, I think? I will announce a winner. So keep an eye out for that, and hopefully you'll join in with both hops and leave a comment, subscribe on my channel anyway, and then we'll go from there. So let's get started with the projects. I've got a couple to show you as well as a tutorial for a simple favor. All right, let's go. All right, I wanted to show you the cut card stocks that I used in my projects before I go too far. So I've used a variety of beautiful colors here. Now, I did a little research and I found out that pastels seem to be really in this year for 2020 weddings. So I picked some pastel colors and then used some golds and silvers to accent these colors. And so very pale pinks, greens, grays, kind of a copper color. All these are very, very popular from the research I was doing. And so I thought I would use two of the colors that I liked the most of the colors that were being talked about when I looked it up. And that's a pale green, almost a mint green color. And that is right here. I chose a Curious Metallic Pale Aloe. And these are just the pieces that I had left, of course, after I did my projects. But so that's Pale Aloe, and then this one is called Pink Quartz, and it's beautiful too. The Curious Metallic finishes have a bit of gleam and a little bit of shine to them, but they are not overpowering. They're very elegant, very understated, and I love the finish. Plus, it's also very thick, perfect for giving your projects a bit of presence. They are not flimsy at all. When you pick up something made with this, you think, wow, this is a nice quality piece because it's got some form to it, and it is, again, not flimsy whatsoever, but yet very easy to work with. The other Curious Metallic that I used in this project was this one. This is called Gold Leaf, and it's also very understated and pretty gold finish to it. Then we have the Mirror Sparkle Gold. Now these are glitter cardstocks that I'm going to show you. This is a very fine glitter finish. Also very refined, very elegant. Then we've got some chunkier glitter papers. Now this is not cardstock, these are papers. You see how how thin and flexible they are. And that's one reason why they work so great on invitations and different things like that, because it won't add thickness to your projects or appear to be, you know, really much thicker than anything else that you've got on the paper. But they're also great for accenting, and so I used both the gold and the silver, and this is, again, I think I said it, but it's CutCardStock's brand of glitter. It's a more chunky glitter and very pretty for accenting especially. And then finally I chose this very heavily embossed white cardstock. Again, nice and heavy. It's called Savannah White Limba Wood Grain. Just gives some nice texture and a nice ambience to pieces that you make with it. All right, so we got through all of that. Next, let's look at our projects finally, right? So the first one I'm going to show you is this beautiful little sign, and it's made with that white Limba cardstock. So the pattern, it comes from My Scrap Chick. I'll put a link to that, and it is supposed to be something that looks like wood. Obviously, it's like wood sign or something to that effect. I can't remember the name exactly right now. But when you use the wood grain paper with it, it really gives you the illusion of wood. And this piece is it's almost 9 inches tall, at least 8 3/4 inches tall. The width of this is 3 5/8, it looks like. So this isn't going to take a huge amount of room on your table, but if you want to place different signs and place them at different heights, you could get some great looks with that. There's also a shorter version of this sign, so you have an option there too. Now to decorate this, I chose that pale aloe to cut out Mr. and Mrs. with my Cricut machine. And again, the pattern itself for the whole thing comes from My Scrap Chick. I cut it on my Cricut machine, but you can also cut it using the SVG file version to use it on your Silhouette, your Brother Scan and Cut, your Cricut. So you have some options depending on what machines you may or may not have. And I'm not selling Cricut by any means, but if you were going to make your own DIY stuff for weddings, you might want to consider a cutting machine to make things like this, because it's going to be a great way to make a lot of things quicker and save you some money in the long run. All right, so anyway, this is one version of the sign. It says Mr. and Mrs. I decorated it with a pre-made flower, which really helps speed things up. This is also pre-made, purchased that way and just put on it. Now, I did use some steel dies for the rest of this. The bells were cut out of the gold glitter paper from CutCardStock. And you can see, even though that's gold, it does, you know, show up nicely on that curious metallic gold paper. This is the Cottage Cuts die that I use for it, Wedding Bells with Bow, and I think it turned out really nice. Now on the top, I decorated with some scroll work. This comes from an old die. It's probably not even available anymore, but I'm sure you can find something similar to it. It's this, and I just simply cut it in half and then put it on each side of my knob. I used a full one on the sides of the sign as well to give it some elegance from all direction. And now on the back side, I did something a bit different just to give you another idea. This is also using a couple steel dies from Cottage Cuts. I'm a big Cottage Cuts fan, and I love all the detail in them. The garden trellis is called Trellis with Vines. It's an older one that they have, but I think it's still available. And then we've got the bride and groom cut out here too. And with all of the dies that I chose, I kept it simple. I don't want you to have to spend a lot of time piecing things together and whatnot, because if you're going to make a half a dozen of these signs in different formats, you don't want to take, 6 hours to make one. And believe me, it didn't take more than about an hour and a half to make this. And once you got good at it, you could make them even faster. And I decorated this with another flower that was purchased. On both sides, I just put a little tiny bow here, an iridescent fabric, and I think they turned out wonderful. Now, you could use this in so many different ways. It could be used to sit in amongst your cake and your cupcakes and whatnot for decoration, like this or like this. You could put the name of the couple on your sign. I mean, there's just an immense number of things you could do, combined with printing whatever you wanted and or using die cuts and other cutouts. You could do a lot. So I hope that gives you some thoughts and some good ideas. I'm going to bring in my second project. This is a really simple favor. I again cut this on my Cricut machine. This is a pattern I bought off the Silhouette design store, but I cut it on my Cricut. And the reason I could is because I used the SVG file version, and that can be used on any machine. So you can use it on Silhouette or Cricut or again, Brother Scan and Cut. So this little favor is pretty small. It's 2 1/4 by about 3 in total. You can see it's about 3/4 of an inch deep, and it's a perfect little favor to put some candies in, say M&Ms with the bride and groom's name on them, or the candied almonds. You can use both big and small in here because it's going to fit, but it's not going to be so much it'll break your bank by putting in some sweet treats. And then I used my handy dandy markers. Well, really they're not markers, but they're fine tip pens from Cricut, and used this from the design store that says thank you, and I put that on a I just put it on the flag that was included, or the banner that was included with this file when I purchased it. I added this little bow, and I used the CutCardStock brand silver for the diamond in there, and this is the Mirror Sparkle gold for the ring part. So these could be cranked out pretty quickly. It's just a simple construction, and I'll show you how to do that next. This would be really pretty as a bunch put in a basket for people to take. It would also be wonderful on a place setting. If you happen to have a sit-down type format for a meal after the wedding during the reception, this would be so perfect sitting on top of the plate or charger, or also sitting above the plate, just as a pretty thank you for those who attended. All right, so let's get into how to make this. I'll show you how simple it is step by step, and I'm going to make a pink one out of the pink quartz Curious Metallic. So here are all the pieces for my pillow box, including this 1 3/4 inch acetate square, and it has 4 pieces of score tape all around it. I'm just going to take that last covering off, and then I can stick that to the inside of my pillow box, and that's going to form the window which will stop any candies or things from escaping. Now this is the ring piece. It's just going to take a little bit of liquid adhesive. In this case I use my favorite art glitter glue, and I'll put that on. And again, that forms the ring in the pillow box. Then I've got the diamond. I've got that cut out of the CutCardStock silver, and the ring itself was from the Mirror Sparkle gold. Just place that on there, and then I can move to the next step. Now, the Cricut does score everything for me, but I decided it would help to take my Cricut stylus here and just go over those scoring lines for where the pillow part is. It doesn't take long to do, and it just makes it a little bit easier to train those pieces to kind of fold in, and you'll see what I mean in a sec. So now I'm going to fold over where the seam is, and that's going to be stuck with some score tape as well. It's the only other adhesive that is used. And here you can see me, I'm just trying to train those little ends to fold in. And when the score is done a little bit heavier, it just makes this part a bit easier to do. Once that is kind of trained, then I can fold it over. Again, use a bone folder there to get the crease nice and strong. And then I'll remove the score tape backing, but I'm going to put it back and show you a trick you might know already. But if you use the backing and fold it over a little bit so that it sticks out, you can then have the ability to make sure your piece is placed where you want it before you pull the rest of the backer out, and that will make sure that everything is nice and straight. It's really easy. All right, so now you can fold the ends in, and you always want to fold the end in with the little semicircle opening first, and then you have the full piece on the top. Alright, it's almost done. I'm just going to attach the bow that I made earlier, and I have the mini glue dot to adhere that to the ring. And then I've got the thank you sentiment that is from Cricut. The flag itself came with the file for the pillow box, but I just used or chose a different sentiment style to put on it. And I really like this one. Now I use the gray Cricut pen, the fine line pen, to write that. And it has the little leaves on each side. I think it's a nice little touch. Thank you for visiting with me today. I sure hope you got some good ideas on this wedding blog. Be sure to go to each blog and leave a comment, and also to leave a comment and subscribe here on my channel to be eligible for the $40 gift certificate and my Cricut pen set. Have a great weekend. Thank you for visiting with me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. And here are some other videos I think you might like. Until next time, keep crafting, my friends.